Good evening, viewers and subscribers. This is BVI Channel 1 and we are live on Matters Arising. Today we are going to go straight on point to appraise the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo Chalewambafo, 1 year in office. And as you all know, that this platform is dedicated towards good governance. And GGM will be doing all through the week an assessment of Soludo's 1 year in government, to take from the government perspective what they have done. Then we will bring in our team of analysts that will dissect some of their performances according to what we have observed. Then following up this week, I am also going to be releasing first-hand information on the street report about Soludo's performance. So all through this week, we are going to do as we have promised all our viewers, Ndibu particularly and especially in the Anambra State, that we will be bringing the report card of the governor of Anambra State and other political stakeholders and elected officials in any government position, because it is our commitment to ensure good governance. Without wasting your time, let us quickly go down straight on the government assessment of their own performance. I'll be right back.
The inauguration of Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo and Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim as the governor and deputy governor of Anambra State, respectively, on the 17th of March 2022, marked the fulfillment of the long hope of the people of Anambra State for a resourceful, innovative, and responsible state government with prime development instincts, a government wholly responsive to the creative, entrepreneurial and developmental impulses of Anambra. Governor Soludo came with the 5 solution pillars, namely security, law and order, which decrees tackling insecurity head-on and restoring law and order; economic transformation and infrastructure, which deals with power, infrastructure, mainstreaming made in Anambra and Anambra Standard Agenda; human capital and social agenda, which aims at creating a digital tribe, human capital productive at home and exportable abroad; governance, rule of law and value system, which targets transforming public service, justice system and mainstreaming Anambra's value system; environment, towards a clean, green, planned and sustainable markets, communities and cities. The above cardinal interests drive the Soludo administration's vision of building a livable and prosperous smart megacity, a preferred place to live, learn, invest, work, relax, and enjoy. The administration inherited worrisome security breaches in the state, which turned even worse at the inception of the new government. Criminals entrenched in various camps in the bushes, buoyed by fetish practices, unleashed terror on Anambra. They had literally taken over the 7 local government areas in Anambra South Senatorial District. Their boast to run the government out of town was, however, met with a very stiff pushback by the Soludo administration. The Anambra Vigilante Group was quickly revitalized and made to work with the federal security agencies, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Directorate of State Security in a joint task force JTF operation led by the State Commissioner of Police. The JTF has not only succeeded in freeing the 8 local government councils that were under the stranglehold of the criminals, it demystified the unknown gunmen saga and increasingly restored the confidence of Anambra in Soludo government's ability to secure their lives and properties. To promote speedy dispensation of justice, the government embarked on digitization of Anambra State justice delivery system. It established virtual hearing facilities in 20 high courts and 4 correctional centers in the state. The administration launched regenerative agriculture as a state policy that encourages healthy, nutrient-dense natural food production. As a first step towards reenacting the era of economic prosperity engendered by Chief Michael Obada's agriculture policy in the First Republic, the Soludo administration procured and distributed prime economic trees to Anambra. Governor Chukwuma Soludo led the massive tree planting campaign by personally planting some trees in his neighborhood. The trees distributed included several thousands of rare and endangered species like okwa, obono, akilu, guava, and swashop seedlings. The administration procured and distributed hundreds of thousands of coconuts and oil palm seedlings to Anambra. The administration has commenced the process of creating industrial cities to engender accelerated economic growth of the state. 53 hectares of land has been acquired at Uo Access for an export emporium. This aims at encouraging the numerous globally acclaimed Anambra entrepreneurs to attract the global community to profitably invest in their growing homeland economy. The administration has commenced work at the Oba Coordinated Wholesale Drug Center, which will serve as a regulated distribution hub for drugs in the southeast and beyond. It has also commenced work at the 200 hectares Anambra State Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Hub at Oboji, while the Oba Drug Distribution Hub, the largest open drug market in Africa, ensures sanity in drug distribution. The Oboji project, with numerous pharmaceutical companies coming in to invest, will create over 50,000 direct jobs and attract many ancillary companies with agro-based packaging and logistics interests. The government is now completing the perimeter fencing of a large expanse of land by Agulu Lake for a world-class entertainment and leisure park. The project, which aims at boosting the ample tourism opportunities in the state, the unprecedented transformation in the road infrastructure across Anambra State in the past 1 year, bears loud testimony to Governor Soludo's determination to make every part of the state accessible in his envisioned, livable, and prosperous smart megacity state. Strategic roads connecting the extremities of the state to the urban cities and the state capital, as well as vital internal community roads, all measuring 261 kilometers, are at various stages of construction. These roads, which are largely being constructed by reputable firms, are designed to last at least 20 years. Some of these roads are the 26.4 kilometer Amansi Ndukwenu Awa Ufuma Road, the 26 kilometers Amansi Ebenebe Ubenu Ubene Obofemili Road, many roads in Okpoko, Oka Township roads, the flood control at the Ogidi Obunike section of Onitsha-Enugu Old Road, dredging of Umili John River, culvert the silting and widening of the water channel, the Abaka Basilica Road, Onitsha, the second phase of Umiata Nam Nzam with bridges and culverts. Others include the Obuneze Nnewi Hotel Road, Ifitogwari Road, also notable at the upcoming strategic Ekulobia flyover aimed at decongesting the gridlocks in that axis, Isofia roads and flood channel intervention at Isofia section of Ekulobia Nobi Road, special intervention at Chisco Park, Onitsha, intervention at Inland Doors axis of Mpo Umoji Road, and special intervention at Amansi section of the Express and Old Roads on Onitsha-Enugu Road. The government is also intervening in many gully erosion control locations as exemplified in Ebenato, Nnewi South local government area. The ongoing revolution in the road infrastructure across the state readily provoked a spontaneous inquiry of a concerned citizen who, assuming the role of an independent project monitor, undertook to measure the quality and progression of work from Amansi to Ufuma and from Amansi to Obofemili. He does this at intervals as herein indicated. Greetings, Mr. Governor. I made my second site inspection on the Ufuma to Amansi Ebenebe to Obofemili roads under construction today, the 12th of March 2023. From Ufuma, Al-Fashtin, which was at a distance of 4.7 kilometers last time I visited, has now reached Ndukwenu, covering 8.3 kilometers. Again, from Amansi end, asphalting has covered 4.9 kilometers. At the time of my visit, asphalting was seriously on in the Amansi end. Serious work is really going on at the drainage, grading, filling up, and blinding with bitumen. The work is up to 70% completed. From Obofemili end, grading to remove the unwanted topsoil and refill with pure red soil has almost reached the Obofemili T junction, covering a distance of about 6.5 kilometers. The stone base, which was 3.8 kilometers last time, has gone up to 5.6 kilometers. 2 culverts/semi-bridges are under construction and 2 others have been completed. The terrain is a very difficult one, but the construction company is indeed at it. From the Ebenebe end, they are only working on the drainage. Congratulations! This is indeed dividends of democracy, eye-marked and ear-marked. Kudos, to God be the glory. Bishop Ezokafo. The Soludo administration has achieved so much in providing cost-effective and sustainable power and water supplies. Its target of giving in the Anambra more environment-friendly power and water facilities is demonstrated in the deployment of solar-powered streetlights in the urban and rural settings. It is also successfully collaborating with Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, to ensure regular power supply in the state. In the water sector, the administration partnered with UNICEF in rehabilitating about 100 boreholes in the 7 flood-ravaged local government areas in 2022. The Soludo administration is determined to transform the transport sector in the state. It has progressively funded the ongoing work at the Anambra International Cargo Airport and is revamping water transportation by refurbishing boats and procurement of water buses. In addition, it will construct ultra-modern mega bus terminals in Onitsha, Awka, Ekulobia, and Nnewi, and introduce air train system at Onitsha axis. The Anambra government has established the Anambra State Geographic Information System, ANAGIS, to facilitate effective land administration that guarantees issuance of certificates of occupancy within 3 weeks of its request. One of the areas Governor Soludo's administration has boldly challenged the old order is on the issue of tax. With the dwindling receipts from Federation account against the governor's development agenda for Anambra, it became obvious that things needed to be done differently to raise the revenue generation profile of the state. The government embarked on public enlightenment on the necessity for Ndi Anambra to embrace tax payment culture as an impetus for holding government accountable for the common good of the people. The administration also introduced the free medical health insurance services for commercial transport operators. The Soludo administration has ensured that Anambra State continues to soar higher in the education sector. The administration dutifully employed 5,000 teachers to bridge the gap created by many years of teachers' retirement without government employing those to fill the gap. This exercise was transparently done to ensure that merit only informed the choice of the teachers employed. The administration granted scholarship to 107 indigent students in the hard-to-reach, disadvantaged parts of the state. As a result, Anambra State teachers, students, and schools won all sorts of laurels for optimal performance in this first year of Soludo's administration. The Soludo administration has ended the era of government hospitals without doctors and other relevant medical personnel by recruiting over 300 medical personnel to ensure proper running of government hospitals. These include medical officers and consultants, pharmacists, medical laboratory scientists, radiographers, and nurses. The general hospitals at Umueri, Enugu, and Ekulobia are undergoing major upgrade. The state now has 30 centers for chemical center screening and treatment. The administration partners with communities in driving vital health projects. This partnership is exemplified in the Eye Care Center at Nise. A few months in the life of the administration, the government distributed 3.8 million treated mosquito nets. It has established the following: a fully functional endoscopy unit at General Hospital Onitsha, dental units at Umueri, Enugu, and Ekulobia General Hospitals, and the medical oxygen production plant at General Hospital Onitsha. Working its talk of producing youth millionaires in Anambra State, the Soludo administration has its innovative One Youth, Two Skills scheme successfully on stream. The scheme seeks to provide vocational and entrepreneurial skills to Anambra youths as an improved version of the popular Nwa Boy phenomenon in Igbo business circle. The program aims to produce 130,000 private sector jobs and 1,000 youth millionaires per annum. And to Governor Soludo's target of fostering, confronted with the devastating flooding that submerged over half of Anambra habitation in the early months of the administration last year, the government succeeded in managing the multi-dimensional crisis of displacement of hundreds of thousands of families, huge material losses and loss of lives, destruction of private homes, farmlands, schools, hospitals, churches, markets, roads, and bridges. The government sustained the displaced families and towns at internally displaced persons camps by providing shelter, food, drugs, and essential social amenities through the crisis. It facilitated their return to their homes while rebuilding the public infrastructure like roads and markets that were damaged by the flood. An assessment of the volume and spread of tangible and intangible achievements of the Soludo administration in its first anniversary in office leaves in the Anambra and the global community with great expectation of what Anambra State will be when the governor's time in office is done.
That is it, my people. That is it. That is what we have gotten so far from the summary of what Soludo have been able to achieve within 1 year in office. Now, this is a live interactive section. You can call 08104545533 to air your opinion live on air while we bring in our team of analysts who are on our waiting room to be brought into this program for tonight. So you can make use of the comment section as well to air your opinion as to what you think about Soludo's performance within 1 year. Like I promised everyone who cares to listen that GGM, we are not political. What we are interested is in good governance. We are interested in good governance, and we assess the performance of public servants, those who are elected to serve the public. So what we do is to appraise their performance and know exactly what they've been able to achieve within the time in office. We are like policing the government, putting them on their toes, reminding them of their campaign promises and their manifesto. Where they are failing, we point it out, and we remain objective in discharging this very task. I've already have a number of team of analysts who are ready on different perspectives, talking about security, health, education, the economy, infrastructure, just name it. Wherever and however you can access Soludo, you can bring it on the program, and we'll continue this conversation all through the week. Because what we are doing, we are just taking what we just watched is from the government point of view. And as you know, if you write exam and you mark it by yourself, definitely you will pass. But we have a team of independent analysts who will be bringing an unbiased appraisal of Soludo's performance in government. While we've already taken our street recording of what the street thinks about Soludo's performance, and as well the eyewitness, what you can see by yourself, what Soludo had done so far. We're not going to cover every bit of it, but definitely we're going to cover grounds that can give you an insight of what Soludo have done so far. So let me quickly bring in Ndubisi. Let me start with you. We have Henry, we have Olisa, we have Emeka Ozibo, all well seated. But let's start with Ndubisi. You're welcome to the program, Ndubisi.
Good evening to our viewers. And Chinedu, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be.
Okay.
Let me stand by while other of my colleagues to introduce themselves.
All right. Okay. Let's take Henry. I think I'm seeing Henry there. Henry, please, your quick intro.
Okay. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, also to Mr. Chinedu.
You're welcome, Henry.
I remain my humble self, Mr. Henry. I'm glad to be part of this meeting today. Thank you, everyone.
All right. This one now, external invigilators who will be marking Soludo, whether he pass or he no pass. We have I think Olisa is there. Olisa, please, your intro quickly.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Chinedu. Good evening, Mr. Ndubisi, my fellow panelists. My name is Olisa Islama. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Let us quickly take that of Emeka Ozibo very briefly. Then we'll go back to Ndubisi for his own appraisal. Emeka Ozibo, you can unmute.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program. Go ahead.
Good evening. Moko Zibo speaking. Good evening. Thanks everyone. Henry, thanks everyone. Thank you.
Okay, now back to Ndubisi and Enugu, who is right there. Can you give us your own assessment report in summary? What do you think about Soludo's performance when you're in office? Ndubisi, go on. Ndubisi, unmute yourself. Give
All
us
right,
your overview.
Thank you. Hello, thank you, Chinedu. You know, my own assessment is basically coming from my own background as somebody that understands the objectivity of government, what government should do for the people. That government ought to create prosperity for people, and the government is there to maximize social welfare and not to make profit for anybody. Coming from that background, I can see that Soludo scored less than 20%. Because all these things you've shown as per Soludo assessment in the last 1 year, as from government point of view, you know, all those things are what Soludo have done. I can confirm that, like building of roads, we can see that roads are being constructed almost in every local government in Anambra State. I can see that he has been able to minimize costs in terms of running government business. Of course, when he first started, he reduced cost of cleaning government facility from 30 something million to just about 12 million naira. And again, you can see that when he came in, now that teachers, even after employing 5,000 teachers, now that we've gotten enough, because we've visited one or two primary schools in Anambra State, they still need more teachers. But I want to give credit to him for coming in and hiring 5,000 teachers under a condition or what I can tag the most transparent public sector employment in the history of Anambra State. I've never seen it before because about five members of our good governance ministry were employed by Soludo administration. Not that they know anybody. They went through the processes, and at the end of the day, without calling any politician on phone, without having contact with any permanent secretary in government, they were hired. Even though one will begin to ask how much is their salary, but comparatively is in line with what is obtainable in Anambra State, which I know is still small, which Soludo, even with increment of 10%, is still insignificant. But however, I want to give him credit for doing that in line with available resources in the state.
Okay, Andy,
On healthcare,
you can hang on things bit by bit. I think we should take it one after the other so that everyone will have their own different assessment. Then we can give a general assessment at the end of the program. Because doing this will take a whole lot of our time and we may not cover ground. Now, let us begin with the most important aspect of the government responsibility. Okay? After we have done that, we will now, appraise some other things that he has done, talking about security. What is your assessment about security in Anambra State with respect to Soludo being in government as the governor? What is your assessment?
Yes, from my own point of view, I can give him above 60% because he has done excellently well to handle the issue of security. Government has shown enough capacity that they can handle the issue of security. So I can give him about 60% on that.
Okay, so what are your basis for giving him such assessment?
Hello, Chinedu, are you there?
Of course, I say, what are your basis for giving him such assessment in security? What are your basis?
Yes, my basis is there. Before Soludo, Obiano government was there. Obiano, as far as I'm concerned, was irresponsible in the manner he handles issue. There wasn't anything like call a hotline that you can call if you have any situation report, you have emergency. But Soludo was able to provide that. And I know some of us over time have been able to use those numbers to reach government. Outside that, when Obiano was there, about 7 local government were no go area in the state. People hardly go to those places to do events. But when Soludo came in, he tackled it head on. Head on. He addressed certain people as criminals, which on this platform we've made that point known that those people hiding in the bushes and kidnapping people are not agitators but criminals. And Soludo did not he did not waste time from labeling these people who they are. So in Onisha, Oka, Newe, I know that the situation has gone down considerably. He has addressed all on cyber security.
All right.
That was why I said I, as a person, will give him 60% on that.
Okay, 60% on
So that is
security. All
that,
right.
Chinedu.
Let us quickly go over to Henry. Henry, give us your own assessment on
60.
security.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Just give us
For
your
me,
assessment.
I think I will beg. Okay, I'll beg to differ from my colleague, Mr. Ndubisi.
Go on.
The so-called insecurity towards the twilight of Obiano's administration, all of us know that it was basically circumstantial. It was the election that actually propelled such high level of insecurity. So when Soludo came in, we all know that he inherited a bad situation. But Soludo initially made it a worse situation by some of his initial utterances, because the so-called issue around that security was centered on IPOB and what have you, non-government. I know these are very emotional issues when it comes to Igbo land. So initially, Soludo met a bad situation. By his utterances made it worse, but I must give him credit for realizing and turning around to nip it in the bud. So it's not yet time to go to the mountain and start shouting that he has gotten it right. We still have a long way to go because there are pockets of skirmishes all over Anambra State. So let me just restrict him to 35%.
Okay,
so that others will contribute.
Okay. All right. Then
thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now let us take it from Emeka Ozibo. Give us your own assessment on security with respect to Soludo. Emeka Ozibo, you have the floor. You can unmute yourself. Emeka Ozibo, we are waiting. Are you there? Unmute yourself. Okay, let us quickly switch over to Olisa. Olisa, you are there. You can speak now. Maybe I think Emeka Ozibo is not available. Tell us your own assessment of Soludo with respect to security issues.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ndubisi. What I'll have to say about the security situation is to look from where we came from to where we are now. Before Soludo, 1 year before Soludo came into office, we had a dire situation on security. People were beheading people, houses were burned, people couldn't come out of their house, businesses were relocating, and which several security challenges. But as Soludo came in, we forced he did considerably well in that regard. He instituted several mechanisms, several policies and institutions, like the new homeland. I was like advocating for an intelligence service in Anambra State. How can we be able to know who and who are orchestrating this, apart from the federal institutions?
Yeah.
To have their own internal security services that can be able to know what's happening internally. And thankfully, he did that. I think it is in Anambra, and he did several policies. And now we are enjoying what he has done. Not that he has gotten it, because if you can't stay up late till 10 p.m. in the night and you're worried about going home, that means your place is still not secure. We want a situation where people can walk. We want a situation where people can walk up to the morning, up to the early hours in the morning, up to 1 a.m., up to 3 a.m. Want that nightlife in the cities, but everywhere in the states. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
So, in your own percentage, how do you score him on security?
Let's say 50%.
Okay, 50% for Soludo on security. Ndubisi
Yeah.
gave him, I think, 65% and or 60%. Harry gave him. Harry, what's your own take on what's your own percentage you gave Soludo on security?
Let me re-emphasize again, 35%.
Okay. So, looking at your assessments, all of the assessments regarding security situation in Anambra State, our team of analysts, I think Soludo performed averagely with respect to security situations. Okay, now let us move over quickly to other important issues, talking about infrastructure, infrastructural development in Anambra State. Ndubisi, I will not start from you. Let me start from Olisa. Olisa, give us your own assessment.
Okay. My brief package from Onisha down to Enugu. I still looking out the window to see whether I can see any improvement in infrastructure. But to in my own perspective, I couldn't point out something that he has done, except the road that is going to Enugu. I don't know that road, what they call that road. There's a road that is going to Enugu, like a road that he recently, that was one of the first projects that I did. That road, that is what I enjoyed, because that road was not motorable at all. So he did that, and other project that he has on paper, that he has said that he has awarded, and all that, and the government lodge. I think I saw a video concerning the government law that I think it's really improving at a fast pace. I should commend the contractors. It's really moving at a fast pace. As some other project that I don't really know of, I think our fellow panelists can be able to
Okay,
speak more light to that.
I will not allow you to give your percentage on the infrastructure because actually you're not living in Anambra State. But I will allow Ndubisi to do
Yeah.
that because he is living in the capital city and he can give a better objective analysis on the infrastructure. Now to Harry. Harry, you were in Oka the other time and we took a tour. You and I, went around to see one of the two things Soludo is doing within Oka. But we are spreading our tentacles across Anambra State, which I've seen so far from across different zones in Anambra State, what he has done so far. But from your own assessment, what do you think Soludo had done so far? From what the little you have seen, because I know you saw little, the little you have seen, what do you think Soludo have been able to achieve? Did it meet your expectation from what you saw? You saw.
Mr. Ndubisi, Mr. Chinedu, I would say that his performance in infrastructure is very marginal. The facts on ground does not suggest that Soludo has actually done has been portraying. But one thing is clear: his vision about infrastructure in Anambra State is very clear, but the approach is a long way off. I give instances. Just like he corroborated, you and I went round Oka. Don't need to belabor the level of the poor quality of job that we met on ground. You and I witnessed the charade along Club Road, a supposed African Dubai Taiwan standard. Is that how roads are done in Dubai? I was so ashamed, I was so traumatized, I was so scandalized by the poor level of job done on that particular Club Road. Or should we even talk about the CBN road? We went there, we measured the thickness, the overlay was nothing to write home about. So we should be we should not be economical with the truth. We don't need to sugarcoat what is happening in Anambra State. We love Soludo, we want him to perform, and we will never spare him if we see any signs of non-performance. So far in Anambra State, we know he has awarded 261 kilometers of road. But what are the level of the quality of the jobs that are being done all over Anambra State? At this time, I don't expect us to be going back to Egypt. I would have thought that with the promise and the vision Soludo is cutting out for Anambra State, would have gone for a tier 1 or tier 2 contractors. I'll give you an instance. Go and drive from Amobia Junction down to Onitsha. That portion of road along Enugu Oka Road considered by RCC. Would you not like that kind of and standard of road all over Anambra State? So what are we doing with all this mushroom substandard work going on all over Anambra State? Let's go to Zix Avenue, Zix Avenue, Unity Junction. I mean to say, that road was supposed to be a double lane, but just go to that place and see the show of shame that is going on in that place. We shouldn't be sugarcoating issues over here because we are all Anabrarians, we are all stakeholders in this state. We should be able to be telling the state government the truth. We know they are trying to use and make use of the little money available, but for me, anything that is worth doing is worth doing well. If you want to do 100 kilometers, make sure they will stand the test of time. Walk the talk, keep to your promise, deliver standard jobs, just like they did. All of us, you're happy with you. Not awarding 200 kilometers of nonsense job. They cannot by the governors of yesterdays. After 2 or 3 years, they will wash away everything, we'll start all over again. We don't need kind of project at this particular point in time. So I will advise Soludo, he has to train strategy. By this second year is going to enter, they're going to be in office. We expect him to do away with all these substandard contractors and go for tier 1. We want to see Cetraco. We want to see RCC in Anambra State. We want to see even Juliusberg if possible. These are the kind of road we want to, so that if you are giving us 100 kilometers, we know that these are 100 kilometers that will stand the test of time. Let me not just overflow the issue. Let me restrict Soludo's performance in infrastructure to 30%. Thank you.
30%, Henry, from your point of observation. Okay, now to the landlord. The landlord will live for Oka, Ndubisi, and Enugu. Now give us your quick assessment on Soludo's infrastructural development. Are you satisfied with what you've seen so far? Ndubisi, over to you.
Well, Chinedu, thank you. My own assessment is should be based on expectation. What I expected from Soludo. Before Soludo came in, I actually expected so much from him. First, I expected him to give us developmental model, to give us plan. This is how my city will look at. Just like what you have shown your followers or your farms on how GGM agricultural estate will look like. That is the kind of template I expected Soludo to come up with the first 2 months or first month after he has taken over. He should be able to project this new Oka. This is how the new Oka will look like. This is how this is my public water policy. This is my electricity policy. This is my environmental or tree planting policy. We should be able to be looking at a Soludo new cities, Soludo smart cities, so that we'll be imagining how it will look like when it comes up. Like if we have such plan, year 1, we should be able to measure him that this is what he has achieved in year 1. And this going to year 2, this is what we expect him to achieve in year 2. But there's no such plan. I have requested, I have demanded. Of course, his media team is not effective at all. So low. They are not good in propaganda. Maybe I've written before. Maybe they are afraid to advise Soludo. Maybe he doesn't listen to them. Maybe Ezonya Gwakwanam just on alone office or name anything unlike it. So I just don't know how to score him. Is it to score him on housing project? The cost of housing in Oka here, flat is something else. How much is income level of people living in Oka? An average civil servant earns 45,000 naira. A year is less than 500,000 naira. But a flat here is 750. 500,000 naira, 600,000 naira, So infrastructure, of course, on road, because there is no way you can meet people's expectation. Expectation is humongous, is unimaginable. But what government does is to create hope, so that people will be looking forward. This is how Soludo will look like in 2 years' time. But my brother, I'm roundly disappointed. I'm roundly disappointed. That is why most people are looking towards obedience. They've lost hope with Soludo. And as a matter of fact, Soludo doesn't care. He doesn't seem to care at all. And people walking around him, they don't care. They don't just know. And that was why they were paying people 3,000 to vote for Abga in the last election. It's sad and so unfortunate, because he could have done better. So I just don't know what to score and how to go about it.
Okay, you don't know how
So
to
Chinedu,
you don't
that
know
is
how
what.
to score Soludo on his road infrastructural development. But my own quick
No, no,
assessment from
of course, I'm not an expert now, and I don't want to go with Henry to say that the quality of road is substandard. Because from what Soludo told us, he said the road is building is the best. It's stone based road, something we've not seen before. And those contractors signed, put it on paper that the road will last for 20 years. I'm not an engineer. At least those ones I saw myself, they were stone based. They were stone based to the best of my knowledge. Because before the final coating, you can see them some feeling. You can see the stone, the gravel, and you can see the last the one Henry mentioned along that Abakaliki road. Chinedu, me and you saw it. Those guys did a good work, but I don't know what Henry. Maybe he is referring to oil producing space like Port Harcourt or
the people that have
Lagos.
Can I can
waterlogged.
I interject?
Uh, uh,
Uh,
uh,
so
Henry, you'll interject.
so
Okay.
that is my like I said, I am not an engineer, but from my eye, the road is okay to the best of my assessment. It's very okay. It's better than what Obiano built, or what even Peter built when he was the governor of Anambra State.
Okay, all right. Okay, now there are features that are on to assess road apart from the quality, the content of the road, the features of the road is also put into consideration if we are going by the international tier 1 standard of construction of road. Talking about drainage system from my own point of view, because I'm out there on the street, I've gone different places, I have made personal assessment, which I'm going to publish later on through the week as we take each and every one of these discussions one after the other from what I've seen on the street. Now, you talk about the uh, drainage system. From all the roads I have seen so far, each and every one of them has dual drainage system on both sides. Each of the roads I have seen so far, there is none that have been constructed or rehabilitated without fixing the drainage system. But one bad thing they have not been able to fix is covering the drainage. I don't know if it is in their plan, but there is no sign in sight that it is going to be covered, the drainage system, of which it is a very bad thing to reckon with. To have constructed a road and it is an open drainage, because that is where and how drainage systems are blocked by debris, sands, and even refuse bin. So if Soludo can quickly address that, then that will go a long way in turning those drainage channels as a pathway, as a walkway for pedestrians, making it look beautiful and neat. Even putting side rails, although in this part of the world, anything goes. If you put up some of those things, the people will go and destroy it. Some people will even go and steal some of those things. But just construct a walkway, a cover drainage system. It is good enough. Then also, I've seen the issue of lightening of the streets and putting up traffic signs and lights. These are things I know it will come after the construction. Let us finish with the construction of the roads, which we expect that after the construction, some of these things should be put in place. That is what we will use to assess him as we move forward. So, road construction and other infrastructural development, which we capture in some of other assessments like hospitals, schools, and the rest of them, will also make our appraisal there. Let me quickly allow Henry to make a quick interjection. Then we'll move over to the next one, or talking about health and education. I think we're going to move together.
Okay, gentlemen, for us to drive home our point, because some of this our intervention is supposed to be correctional. We shouldn't be economical with the truth. I want to ask us, can we compare that hogwash in Abakaliki Road with the standard of road by RCC along Oka Enugu Expressway? It's a very simple thing. Go and check that Abakaliki Road or other roads that are being done by some of these four-tier construction companies. Do you understand? Can someone do that kind of road in Dubai? You are doing a road, there's no overlay, there's no pedestrian path, there's no road signs, there's no traffic signs, there's no what do you call it? They don't have even median. There's no space for shed where people can bust up. Please, let's come up this thing we are doing. We need to encourage Soludo to do more. Anything that is working well. As far as I'm concerned, I see in seat. Those roads are very middle of the road. It needs to be stopped. The commissioner must be encouraged to go after quality jobs. That is the only way we can even save our money, because you don't need to be constructing road after every 10 years. Anybody can promise anything.
Okay, I think
we saw the video of where. Okay, let me stop from here. Stop here.
I understand you, Henry. I think what we're looking at now is the performance so far, and like I said, most of the roads are still under construction. At least 98% of the roads are still under construction. They have not completely been completed. So, talking about like what I said about drainage system, I didn't see any sign in sight that they are going to cover it, but we give them the benefit of doubt and time. That by the time these roads are fully completed, then by then we'll be entering the second report card, the second term for the second year. All right. Then after the second report card, we'll go to the third report card, which is where you will do his final report. Then we'll now consider if he will be promoted for second tenure or retire him completely from office. So moving forward, I think what we should do is to give him a benefit of time and doubt that some of these things, but we can remind him this is the expectation in this our assessment, so that by next term, by the time we'll be doing this, we will not be beating our head or knocking him on the head about some of these things that are missing from the construction that he's done already. Let us quickly, because of want of time, mop up the issue of the hospital and school. The assessment so far, do you think he has done enough or well going forward, what he has done with schools? NWC, let me start with you because you have a deep knowledge about the school system. We've gone to one or two of them.
Sorry, I think on infrastructural provisions in schools and the hospitals, I think it's work in progress. And from what I've seen so far, I think Soludo has planned. For the meantime, I've not seen him building modern or model public schools in cities. Starting from cities, I've not seen such plan. Meanwhile, I've seen plan in hospital, his intention in hospital, general hospitals, one in Enugu, one in Akure, and take one in Ibrahim. Work is ongoing, but like we said, is until such project is completed, then you should be able to appraise or assess him. But at this stage, I can see work is progressive. Then on the quality and standard, mm, seriously, my expectation might be different from others. What I'm thinking is that those people in public offices, they don't have their children in public school. Like Soludo, of course, you don't expect him to have any of his children anywhere in public schools. So also as most people within his government. So I've not seen their plan to develop the quality of education in Anambra State. Even though government can always boast that the Anambra people, students in primary school or secondary school are highly cooperative. But I can assure you that that is efforts coming from parents. Parents are being exploited by private schools and missionary schools in Anambra. And I've not seen government intervening to moderate the SSCs coming from these quarters. I've not seen them. And public schools are not yet attractive to the extent that a middle class worker can boast of sending uh, his or her children to public schools. These are what I expected Soludo to through policy execution or policy initiatives. You know, I expected him to establish that in his first year and build upon that second year. But I don't see such happening. Because I used to visit public schools, it's still the same old stories. So it's not like I've lost hope, but I can tell you Chinedu, that because some of these people in government over the years they don't have their children and they don't have plans. In fact, they don't care. They don't care for us, for the public, for the ordinary people. And Sulud, I've not seen him caring, even though he can tell me that one primary school in his software he adopted it. But the day I went to that primary school, I feel ashamed of myself. I feel sorry for myself, because the irreducible minimum I expected from somebody who has traveled across the world to do is to be concerned of the environment. Environment is key thing. Apart from looking at the quality, the content coming from that school. But if you look at the environment, the quality of the environment, you see the same thing. Then on content, course content, Soludo has written a lot of books and a lot of presentations, seminar, having his student, follower, mentor. I see him as a mentor. I see him to begin to implement things that
Let's keep
nobody has
it.
seen before.
Let's keep it
The
brief
one
because of
time he
time.
has told us that the situation in Nigeria is doesn't require people to think aside the box because there is no box to think from. Rather, he said you think without the boss, assuming that there is no boss. You think without it. So my expectation from him is that once he comes into government, he will think without the boss. I'm talking about revenue. There is a kind of emotional connection we will connect with Ndibo. Ndibo all over the world will build a model school. When he started, he said adopt school, one school. But his program is elitist. It's elitist.
Okay,
People can
NWC, let's us keep
only
it
be
brief
part
because
of
we
their
don't have all the
government
time.
when you are open-minded, when you are welcoming,
NWC, can you listen to
through
me?
your
Can you hear me?
communication or through.
I don't think you can hear me,
Yes.
NWC. I said let us keep it brief because we don't have all the time. Just like a summary, we don't need details today.
Okay.
We are running out of time.
All right, Chinedu, I conclude. Maybe let other people talk.
Okay, because when we look at the issue of teachers, he employed 5,000 teachers, which you acknowledge that did that through the due process, and that is recommendable or commendable of a government who is bent on transparency. This is what we call equity, fairness, and justice. Because some of these people who got this employment never knew anyone, and they never go through any shortcut before they were able to get such employment. And we can attest to the fact that the schools that have not had enough teachers, not that they have had enough now, but today students and pupils can attest to the fact that they are having more teachers. Like the one where we visited the school had teachers, and you see the thousands of them who came up with joy that if not for the process that have been introduced by Soludo, they may not have the opportunity of getting employed. Many of them have looked for employment for so many years. Okay, so on that, I think I score him very high on that. Because of that, because it is fundamental. He cannot do everything all at the same time. We are not assessing his 4 years in government. We are still assessing his first year in government, and we'll give him that benefit of time that he's going to improve on the quality of education. Now, we are going to look at very briefly and quickly to the economic impact of Soludo's activities, his taxation, has he fared well, and any other thing that we can think of or talk about. And don't forget that he employed health. In the health sector, he employed a lot of medical professionals. A lot of them. At least I visited some hospital recently, and the one I visited in the past, they attested to the fact that truly they are getting more doctors and nurses and what they call medical officers, MOs. Okay, so it is really commendable of his administration for 1 year to employ workforce around these sectors, the health sector and as well the educational sector, which is, I say, is commendable, I must tell you. So now, on the issue of taxation, the economic, what is the economic impact of Soludo's administration for the past 1 year? NDBC, I will continue with you because you are expert in that. Then I'll bring in Henry and Olisa to make their own submission. But please, NDBC, you have to keep it very brief. We don't have too much time. You have to about 2 minutes, in fact. Please.
Hello, Chinedu. Thank you. Yeah, I know basically what government does is to maximize social welfare, like I said. And government creates enabling the environment, creates economic prosperity. It's only when such prosperity is created that people are making money, people are happy, that people are expected to pay tax, as the government will see such tax payment as dividend of creating economic prosperity. But I've not seen that happen under Soludo. Under Soludo, he was just comparing previous administration, Obiano, what Obiano was doing. He was using Obiano tax parameters to assess what he would do. So he has not done well as far as I'm concerned, and that could be seen from the reactions in the street. Soludo policies are too elite. He makes money. The elites, the new set of elites, economic and political elites, have hijacked government. Though it's unfortunate, but that is the reality. And with the way things are going, if he continues next years, we get election for him to win another election, bribe money, bribe people, pay people money instead of people doing what people are doing for people today. But he's too disconnected from people and he doesn't care. He's too elitist in his program. He's bringing in a lot of all these people. You have PhD, you have professor, you are this, you are that. And these people wage bill is high. So I have not seen him using his tax policy to encourage economic prosperity. And an average Anambra man doesn't depend on government. Again, I've heard Soludo saying that 90% of Anambra wealth or whatever, something like that, is at the hands of and the hands of private sector people and the hands of Anambra citizens. He's saying it. What has government done to create such wealth for the people? People are on their own, working hard, creating wealth for themselves. And you, being head of government, is saying that 90% of Anambra money is at the hands of. Okay, you expect for them to be paying without you adding directly or indirectly to their business because they are in government. The kind of mindset we have in this part of the world is mind-boggling. Is annoying and frustrating. You should be able to appeal to business world for them to even begin to have sense of belonging that they are part of this government before you can collect money from them. That is connection Soludo has not connected. That is very unfortunate. Being a professor of economics, you should know all these things and you should know better. But he doesn't. So Chinedu, I think on economic standard of living of an average Anambra people has not improved at all under Soludo because he has not done anything to contribute to that. Maybe somebody will say if the enabling environment like security, which I said he hasn't tried, that people will be attracted to come down to Anambra, and in that case, purchasing power of people will increase, and the turnover will also go high. But as we are in Anambra State, we've not seen a lot of people relocating to Anambra State as a result of Soludo policies. I've not seen it happening unless few people, which is elite, getting contracts, staying in hotel, and they are paying them. Maybe many of them are staying in Enugu. They move the money to Enugu and are contributing to Enugu economy of Lagos. That is not the kind of economy.
All right. Okay,
or standard of living.
Okay, NDBC, let us allow Henry and Olisa to make the assessment as we wrap up on the program. To Olisa, let me talk with Henry. Henry, go on. What's your assessment?
Okay, very quickly. I want to commend the Commissioner of Education for what she has been doing. What she's doing is not going unnoticed. Do you understand? We know they've employed 5,000 teachers. The sense of performance is there, so we encourage them. On that education, I give Soludo 45%. On health, we are seeing some pockets of changes. He employed about 300 medical officers or workers. Even though it's still a far cry, but it's a good head start. I ascribe 40% to health to Soludo. Then for economy and living standard, let me start with living standard. Nothing has changed. It has been all talk and no action. I give you an instance. Go and check Soludo's document he used to campaign for election. He said within the 1 year of his assumption, they are going to articulate a policy to solve the water problem in Onitsha, Nnewi and Oka and what be. Today, there has no response. He just talk, no practical solution, no nothing. You understand? The pipe on water has not been resuscitated. There is no public utility that is working in Anambra State. Aswama, what do they call ASEPA? They are just busy. They are not even present in anywhere. Nothing is just going on. Nothing has changed from Anambra of last 4 years. And that will be very bad. Then for economy, I'm even embarrassed and ashamed of what Soludo's output so far. I score him 20% on this way because Soludo, coming from his background, we expected him to have been hit the ground running. Do you understand? I would have thought that when Soludo comes in, he's going to have a short term, which is a low-hanging fruit, middle term and long term. What I mean short term is first and foremost, return governance to the grassroots by conducting local government elections so we can spread out wealth to every part of Anambra State. This is the basic sine qua non for anything, governance and economies and also economy. Then I also expect him to reduce cost of doing business in Anambra, which is still very far, raise the IGR, Right now, Nigeria and Anambra is exercising confusion. Everything is in limbo. The other day, he lamented yesterday during his 1 year remembrance. That is, he just keep going back to measuring himself with Obiano. Gentlemen, I'm so ashamed of such disposition. We put you there to correct the error of yesterday. You're not going to go and measure it with an ex-governor. So on economy, I score him 20%. He has not really living up to expectation, considering his status and reach as an economist. I would have thought that when Soludo comes, his first 5 policy initiatives will be able to attract investors. Do you know? Let me even take us back to history. Obi, within the first 2-3 years, you could see he was able to energize Innocent. He was able to energize Hero, this Interfat Brewery. These are the kind of things, stimulation we expect from Soludo. Within the first 6 months of the administration, we are going to be seeing investors flooding Anambra. Do you understand? You could see that things are about to happen. Up till now, it has been noise and noise. And what I noticed, which is very shameful, is either Soludo is working alone, he's doing a one-man show, or he doesn't have a team, because Soludo should not be the only person seen doing the talking. The commissioner must be talking, his wife must be talking, his PAs must be talking, the secretary must be talking. So it's not only about every time Soludo. He should step back and focus on the nitty-gritty of governance, so that people and create confidence among it, so that people will go and own their job and start moving out and start performing.
Okay. All right.
Do you understand me? So let me leave it here. Standard of living 20%, economy 20%. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. That's the assessment coming from Henry. To Olisa, quickly, let us wrap it up from there, because we are already backward in time. Olisa, are you there? You can make your submission.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ndubuisi. Really nice submission from fellow panelists. What is government there for when it comes to economy? When it comes to economy, what is government there for? Government is not meant to create businesses. They are not meant to create businesses. In the present dispensation, government is not meant to create businesses. Government is meant to stimulate businesses. Is meant to energize people to create businesses. That's what government is. And without an enabling environment, without an inspiration from anywhere, without power supply, without access to water, without good road, without human capital, I'm not sure government can be able to do this. So we should score him. Let's start scoring him on this in cases of human capital. How many people are engaged in skill promotion and skill empowerment? How many people have access to water, clean water? How many people have access to clean water? Just clean water. How many people have access to clean water? That is government providing. Because the government, their revenue comes from the service industry. Their revenue doesn't come from saying that they created one business or they created one business. It comes from service. Okay, I'm providing this company with light. Let's go and tax this company. Okay, I'm providing this company with water. Let's go and tax this company. This is where the government revenue comes from. So if they don't provide services, if they don't provide enabling environment, I'm not sure they can be able to enhance their revenue. It will now become like extortion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a very wonderful assessment that we've done so far. The rest we're going to leave it up on another time. But in quick closing remark from Ndubuisi, just 30 seconds. If you are there, present with the Soludo, what advice will you give him? Just 30 seconds. In just one straightforward sentence. What advice will you give him?
I would advise Soludo to look at what the Obasanjo administration, Obasanjo, who he has so much respect as father of Nigeria. Obasanjo was able to assemble a character like Soludo, Erufai, Dora Akunyere, Obieze Kwesịrị Ngozi Iweala, and I will ask Soludo, how many revolutionary-minded commissioners have you been able to assemble? I expect you by now to have sacked 90% of those commissioners working for you because they are not making any impact as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Thank you, Chinedu. That's what I would advise Soludo to look for like-minded people and appoint into positions. He can't do everything alone. He can't be everywhere. We are calling him not that we expect him to do everything. He is a good man. He's not corrupt. He's committed. He works 24 hours, but him alone cannot do it. So until he has revolutionary-minded people who can face all those ministries and create content for the people of Anambra State, it will just be Soludo. So that would be my advice if I see him.
All right, thank you very much, Ndubisi. Over to Henry very briefly to.
Mr. Chinedu.
Go ahead.
In a nutshell,
yeah.
If I meet Soludo one-on-one, I will first of all advise him to advise himself. 2, to change his entire team and be to have people that have dream and dream in like manner with him. 3, he should be able to make sure that his policies and projects and deliverables match his promises, because he doesn't need to. It's very bad when people begin to lose hope. When people begin to cite gap in your promises and deliverables, it won't all go well with you, because that is what we used to judge. He has been talking African Dubai, Taiwan. So far, Soludo is taking us to Somalia with the project we are seeing so far. We're not heading, I'm sure we're not heading to Dubai or Taiwan. So you should have to do a post 1 year analysis, plug all the loopholes, change him, talk to himself, and begin to carry everybody along and stop this obicentric attempt on focus to a federal level and meet up to a expectation of our people. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And over to Olisa. Olisa, please, your own summary.
My advice to understand the people that are leading. You should know that you can't lead these people with that elite mindset. You have to lead them as if you're a street person. You have to enter the street, put your head on the floor, on the ground, and listen to the people, what they want. You can't carry textbook, economic textbook, and come and lead in the Anambra. Anambra is a very complex geography with complex people. So he has to put his that's why I always respect Peter when he says that he's a trader. He knows why he's saying it, because his ears are always on the floor. If someone that takes advice from a madman, you can know how that person gets his information, where he gets his information from. He should come down from that his government house, wherever he is, and come to the streets. Remove all those security guards that is always blocking him, and listen to the old women, the traders. And he listened when he was drafting his manifesto. He listened to them. Now that he's there, he's not more listening to them again. He should come down. If I see him, I'll tell him that he should come down from that his high horse and listen to his people. Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for being part of today's program. It is a pleasure to have you all do this assessment. Moving forward, we will continue policing the government and also making sure that we remind government of their promises. Don't take it personal. Our analysts are quite brutal, but I can tell you from my own assessment and report on ground, Soludo have done well in putting it on ground that he wants to achieve something. Okay, then his politics, it is his business, because he's playing a very bad one. Very bad politics. So we are not talking politics on GGM, because GGM is not political. We are talking and focusing on good governance. Delivery of good governance for the people. And that is exactly what we try to do here. And we've done that pretty well. And I thank you, gentlemen, for being part for being part of this program today. Thank you very much. And to our viewers out there, we didn't take much call because there are a lot to cover, and we didn't have much time to take onto your submissions through calls. But we acknowledge those of you who have joined us on today's program through our comment section. Chidon, Tochi, we appreciate you. Madu Ekwe, Kana, your Jackson Iwezu, those that dropped comments. Madu Ekwe, Kana, we appreciate every one of you. Mona Anki and the Chris George, those of you that dropped comments, we appreciate you all. We don't have time to take all of that one after the other, but we promise that subsequently we will be doing that in our subsequent live broadcast. Thank you very much for watching. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing, keep following all our platforms. If you have not subscribed, hit on the subscription button, and don't forget, we need your support to continue this work for public interest. I still remain Asuchino Peters, and from here I'm signing out on today's program, saying may God bless you and keep you safe until I come back on the next episode. Masters are rising. Bye-bye for now.